Coming up on today's Philadelphia 76ers, now stock up, stock down. Who are the studs and duds of the preseason for Philadelphia? It's a jam-packed show. I'm Chase Sr. Appreciate all of you for being here with us. First, though, if you want the 76ers to make the playoffs, this is a team that a lot of people don't know what's going to happen with this basketball club. Last week, we talked about the NBA GM survey, and all general managers across the entire NBA said Philadelphia, the most unpredictable team in the NBA, so don't jinx it. All right, without further ado, stock up, stock down. Who's been playing well, who's been impressing, and who's been on the other side of that spectrum? We begin with the stock up for Tyrese Maxey. Every year that he's been in the NBA, he continues to blossom into a better player year after year, and I think he is on the cusp of superstardom. In 3 preseason games so far, the young killer has been balling, and he's had a lot of opportunities to serve a couple of different roles: on ball, off ball, primary ball handler, because James Harden has not made his preseason debut, and we're not even sure if James Harden is going to have a role with this basketball team. But the preseason opener against Boston, Maxey was looking like the Maxey that we know and have been accustomed to seeing. 24 points, 4 dimes, very efficient from the deck, 9 of 17 from the floor. And then again against the Boston Celtics, shooting numbers go down just a little bit, but look, this is a Boston team that going into the playoffs last year had defended Maxey well. First couple of games of that series, Maxey was a little bit spotty, had his moments, and at the end of that thing, he was one of the only players who showed up consistently. 17 points in that second preseason showing, and then against the Brooklyn Nets on Monday night, Ben Simmons getting chippy a little bit with his former team. Nicholas Claxton beefing with some 76ers as well. Patrick Beverley getting ejected from the game late in the fourth quarter. Maxey, more of a limited role. He did exit because of back spasms, not believed to be anything serious, but 12 points is what he contributed. 3 assists and 4 of 8 from the floor. Tobias Harris, he's like us, very impressed with what the former first-round pick is doing right now and how he's evolved his game and the improvements that he has made. Toby, I think he's an all-star, is Tyrese Maxey. I think he's going to show people his playmaking ability as well. Maxey, I think, is ready for the all-star jump. A big talking point here on this program, kind of comparing what Maxey did in his first 3 seasons compared to what Jamal Murray did, also out of Kentucky, in his first 3 years. Maxey's numbers, points per game, field goal percentage, 3-point numbers have been better. And I like to make that comparison because if Maxey continues to take that Jamal Murray-like path and leap, can he team up with Joel Embiid to form a dangerous 1-2 punch that can finally bring back a championship to Philadelphia? And Maxey, I love the approach that he takes to the game, where he's always looking to get better, adding something to his bag every single year. That's stock up for Tyrese Maxey. Stock down, Mo Bamba, the former Westtown product in Chester County. Mo Bamba, he's one of those players where you look at the body type and you're like, how can he not be a good player? He's had moments at the NBA level when he's been healthy where he can stick that corner 3. He can defend the rim a little bit. He looks physically imposing. And then there are other moments where Mo Bamba looks lost. And Mo Bamba doesn't look as though he could be a steady participant as a contributor coming in off the bench. And what's unfortunate here is that we know the reality of Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid has been often injured throughout his career. Great, but injured a lot. And the Sixers, really outside of Andre Drummond, have really failed to fortify the backup center position. It has been a consistent issue. And right now, I'm not sure that Mo Bamba seems to be the great solution, which is kind of unfortunate. We'll see if Nick Nurse can develop him into a better player. He has the body type that Nurse has been able to work with in his past, but in 3 preseason games, 12 minutes per, that's not bad action. Like, you should be able to contribute and show what you got in that berm. 2 points per game, 3+ rebounds, 21% from the field, and he's been a minus 17 thus far. And Mo Bamba might be rocking the Harden kicks, those Adidas. That might be swaggy. His play has not been swaggy. And what's crazy, too, against the Nets on Monday night, Filip Petrusev actually entered the game over Mo Bamba against the Brooklyn Nets. That tells me that Nick Nurse a little bit worried, a little bit concerned, and trying to figure out what to do with that rotation behind Joel Embiid. More stock up and stock down coming your way. First, though, stock up. It's always up for BetUS, our sportsbook partner here at Chat Sports. Also, stock up the deal that they have to offer. Chatsports.com/bet, promo code chat125. Use that link and that promo code, and you get a 125% deposit bonus. I've been winning money like crazy, betting on college football and the NFL. It's a big passion of mine. You can do the same. Just use that link and that promo code. What that means, you put in $100, you get $125 back, $225 to game with. Find me a sportsbook in the crowded marketplace right now that's giving you a deal like that. You look at most improved player odds, Tyrese Maxey 10-1. Why not? You put down $1, you get back 10. Love the value there. Him after Mikal Bridges. More stock up, stock down. Jaden Springer. Really like what he's been able to put together from the NBA Summer League in Las Vegas through the preseason here. And I think that he's starting to find his groove a little bit as a rotation guy at this level. Now, my thing with Jaden Springer, and I've kind of talked about this a little bit, I don't love the lateral speed and quickness. I do like the vertical jumping ability that can play at this level. He's also pretty sturdy to the point where he can stay in front of a lot of shifty guards across the NBA because he's able to use that body type to kind of get physical with you, although because of that lack of lateral speed sometimes, the offensive player can blow by him a little bit. But you look at his preseason numbers here, and I like the fact that Nick Nurse is giving him time because this is a former first-round pick who might be a little bit of a late bloomer, one of those developmental projects who can really help this team this year defensively, a little bit offensively. But how about those offensive numbers? 14 of 22, 5 of 6 from three-point range. I don't think that's sustainable to be cooking like that from downtown. But if Jaden Springer can give you this type of production, and it can be somewhat consistent, I'm not talking that great like the numbers that we just showed you, but somewhat consistent, this is a rotational type of guard who can help you all throughout the regular season, helping save players from their workload just coming in to spell them off the bench. But I'm talking about a playoff caliber player here who, if you want to have a grimy game or you're going up against a team with some solid wings who he can leap up with defensively because of that vertical jumping ability or some really good guards, Springer is a player who might be able to carve out some rotation minutes and actually give you meaningful minutes as well. If he continues to show that reliable three-pointer, you can book it. I think he's going to play a lot under Nick Nurse in his debut season with Philadelphia. Great Springer's preseason so far. For me, given the expectations and the play so far, I'm going A+ for Springer. Props to you for proving me wrong. That's good stuff right there. Furkan Korkmaz, stock down for a couple of reasons. He's been involved in NBA trade discussions over the last few years. He signed that 3-year, $15 million contract, which at the time given him $5 million coming off that Atlanta series where he was sticking some threes. I thought that was pretty good value. And not only is Korkmaz just struggling to carve out rotation minutes and playing time at all because he was really in the doghouse under Doc Rivers for whatever reasons, Glenn Rivers. Rumored in trade stuff, I think has affected his confidence a little bit. It's impacted his consistency, but what's also impacted his confidence and his consistency in the preseason, injuries. He's missed all of preseason with a leg strain. So for a guy who's been trying to prove himself, he hasn't had an opportunity to do that because he's been off the floor. And you combine all of those things that we talked about, losing an opportunity to prove that he belongs in this rotation. You take a gander at some of the bench pieces for Nick Nurse on this Sixers roster. I don't hate the makeup of this bench. I really don't. I wish backup center was a little bit better, but you have until the NBA trade deadline to figure that out. And Paul Reed could play a little 4, play a little 5 as well. Oubre, who we're about to talk about, playing well. Danny Green. Can he still have some gas left in the tank? Daniel House, Jaden Springer. That right there, not a bad bench. House, a good series against Boston in that second round. Springer playing really good in the preseason. You know that Danny Green can hit some threes, and then Kelly Oubre, a very good athlete at that wing spot as well. So you kind of look at the bench pieces there and how everything's kind of trending with individual players' play. Kind of brings up this question, like where does Korkmaz find minutes? It's hilarious that he's requested a trade the last 2 years and no team has really wanted him, and he's been kind of in the doghouse on the Sixers bench. Speaking of Kelly Oubre, got to talk about this free agent acquisition who Philadelphia just picked up just a few weeks ago. And ability has never been a problem with Kelly Oubre Jr. It's just been about consistency. If he could have a career season motivated by the fact that there were no suitors and he didn't get a lot of money after making some good coin at the NBA level, and he has a career season, that's a great value pickup for Daryl Morey, this front office, and the Sixers organization. And how about the highs of his preseason so far? First preseason game against Boston, only 2 of 7, 0 of 3 from 3, 6 points, 4 rebounds. But then the second matchup with Boston, he gets some more playing time, and he was much more efficient in those minutes. 18 points, 3 rebounds, 6 of 8 from the field, 4 of 6 from 3. He popped the most to me against Boston among all players in that game. And in the 2023 preseason as a whole, 15 points per game, those numbers elevated because of what he did against Brooklyn on Monday night at the Barclays Center. 21 points, 4 rebounds, 9 of 24. Look, he's never going to be the most efficient player, but sometimes you might need him to go on a little bit of a heater. And he might be able to be that guy who doesn't have a lot of fear and letting it fly in a big moment. And I like that about Oubre. Most importantly, though, Philadelphia has lacked this type of twitchy wing for a while now. And I think with Kelly Oubre, that helps you offensively and defensively by giving you some length, giving you some speed, giving you some burst, as well as athleticism. Oubre is what the Sixers have been missing, that athletic wing off the bench who can create, and you won't go on as many of those lulls of not being able to put the biscuit in the basket, and Oubre can help you in that regard if he finds a little bit of a heater. Bonus, Paul Reed, stock up. You can tell that he's really been able to work on his game. I think he's been motivated from what Nick Nurse envisions for him within his role. Also, when you're making about $8 million per year now and the Sixers match the Jazz offer sheet to keep you, that'll boost your confidence too. But he's shooting some threes, looks to be a little bit more under control, and I think that he's going to be one of those breakout players for the Sixers team in 2023-2024. If you made it to the end of today's show, yes, sir, we appreciate you. Real One roll call. Make sure you hit that thumbs up icon, like the video. Shout out producer Chip for killing it on the show today as well. And shout out to all of you who are subscribed to the channel. If you haven't, hit that sub button right now.